Hello everybody, my name is Florian Education. Today I'll be talking about JavaScript objects. I did a video earlier, but it wasn't that clear, so I decided to do it again. So let me quickly share my screen so that we get started. Okay. So as we learned in JavaScript, variables are containers for keeping data values. Okay. So for example, if I declare a variable called car, okay, I can assign a data value called fiat to it. Okay, data, this is string data. Now objects are variables too. You could put it this way. Objects are uh, variables with so many values. If objects are variables, but objects contain many values. So for example, for the same variable car, I have these three data values. I have model 500 and color white. Now, JavaScript objects are containers for named values, meaning that the values have to be named. And to do this, we use what is called the name values pair for JavaScript objects. Okay, and these are one of the properties of JavaScript objects. So, for example, for a variable called person, my name or property name and the value. Last name being the property name and though being the value. Age being the property name and 50 being the value. Eye color being the property name being the value. Okay, you get a much clearer picture as I've shown down here. Your first name John, last name Joe. Okay. The second property we have JavaScript object methods. Now methods are actions that can be performed on objects. Okay. Usually methods are stored in properties as function definitions. What that simply means is they are stored in properties to define a certain function to help us understand it more and for the machine to also interpret it much better. So for example, full name function return this dot first name plus phrase plus this dot last name. Um, these methods here are defining this function. JavaScript objects are containers as we stated earlier for named values and methods. Okay. Now we have another property, object definition. Either define an object or create it in a JavaScript object with an object literal. So in order for us to create and define a JavaScript object, we use an object literal. Okay, so for example, having the variable person, we use a object literal to define that variable. Now, the format in which we write it doesn't really matter. As you can see, it's the same code as this one. We access object properties. Now we can access object properties in two ways. Uh, Either by using the syntax object name dot property name. A good example will be person dot last name. Okay, so this would easily give you access to this, those here. Okay, or you can use the syntax object name parenthesis property name, and that will give you access to property name if it has been assigned to the variable person. Okay, now accessing object methods. Now, we can access an object method with the following syntax. Object name dot method name. Okay. Take note, this is accessing object properties and object methods. Okay, as you can see, the difference between them is that there is a parenthesis here. This is no parenthesis for properties. Okay, full name is equal to person dot full name with a parenthesis and a semicolon. Now, we can choose to access the full property without a semicolon. In that case, it will return a function definition. Okay, so for example, we have name is equal to person dot full name. Note, we should not declare strings, numbers, and booleans as objects. It makes things very, very difficult for us. It slows down our execution and complicates our code. Okay, but if we should decide to, this is how to change a string, a number, or a boolean into, okay, so for variable x is equal to new string, yeah, we are declaring x as an object. A variable y equals to new string, we are trying to declare y as a number object, and variable z, new boolean, we are trying to declare z, which is variable as a boolean object. For watching, and feedbacks would surely be appreciated.